to start with you, fill in the blank. The 2016 NBA Finals will be remembered for what?
Two things. First, LeBron got one for Cleveland. That's over half a century. A city didn't have a championship, and the tears said it all as he was bawling as soon as he got that Larry O'Brien trophy. We said it. One Cavs championship probably equal to about 2 or 3 in
Does
Miami.
feel like that.
And the second thing is, this is LeBron's first title on his own. That's what people are going to remember it as, because he didn't have this super team that he put together behind him. People will say, yeah, he was the GM of this team, but it's different going to Miami. And I do think it overshadows the contributions of Kyrie Irving, etc. But people like to put up individuals on pedestals. So LeBron's first championship, basically as a leader on his own without the super champion or the super team kind of aura around it. Those two things, the land and the man getting his first.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
It's sort of tough to disagree.
From being on the brink of defeat and facing those questions again about whether or not he can actually carry a team to a championship, to now the greatest achievement, in my opinion, of his career, without doubt, because they were down, they were gone, and we were writing them off. This time last week, we thought it was just a matter of time before the Warriors closed it out. And the series basically turned a full 180, and it was because of LeBron James. Turns in 41 points in Game 5, 41 in Game 6, and then throws out an incredible triple-double in Game 7. And, I mean, delivering not just a championship to this franchise, but to this city and to this state and anyone around the world who's a Cleveland Cavaliers fan.
Not only rallying from 3-1 in the finals, but against the greatest regular season team of all time in the Warriors, which is nuts. And really recapturing, taking, snatching, whatever you want to say, the best player in the world, fake trophy from Steph or anyone else that was challenging. There's no way that anyone can deny that right now LeBron James still proved to be the best player in the world.
Did it at both ends of the floor as well.
Exactly
That's what
right.
really stands out about it. Like, defensively, he was locked in, and you could see his team played behind him like that. He set the tone, they followed, and then on offense, hit jump shots, he attacked the paint, he hit three-pointers. He did everything.
He said multiple times he needed to be pushed to the brink. I mean, right up against the wall, to the 3-1, and no one really thought that they would come back from 3-1. No one thought that they would make history, except for those guys in that locker room. I'm hearing Tristan Thompson actually on ESPN say, he was asked, when did you guys think that you would win this championship? He said, when we were down 0-2. That's when LeBron came in and said, we can beat this team. And to see that or hear that he had that confidence, it's just very, very cool. He thought that he would be leading the entire time. LeBron is like a nice car when you come up to the line at a red light.
Go on.
But he's not a car that blisters past you. He just surveys the situation like those first 2 games, and then he says, all right, now I'm putting the pedal to the metal. He's like a nice Kia, you know? Whenever he wants to destroy it, he just destroys it.
The branding checks out.
Yeah.
It is interesting, though, that he does need to get his back against the wall, like you mentioned, and be down and basically on the brink of defeat, and then he can just somehow summon some amazing energy and effort to carry his team just beyond anything we could have thought they could have done.
Let's move on here, guys. Fill in the blank. Task back to you. The series changed when blank. Was there a specific moment thing? What was it?
At the end of Game 5, when they didn't close it out, the Warriors just stopped playing like the Warriors. We can look at the Draymond Green suspension or bogey or the fact that Curry just was taken out of the offense basically entirely because they double-teamed them. They stopped playing inside out because of bogey. But when you look at it, Curry stopped being Curry. And if Curry has a good Game 7, then they win this championship. For some reason, Steph Curry stopped being Steph Curry. He had a bad game in Game 7. The turnovers.
He had a bad series, too.
Yeah,
he did.
But why did you decide to go back midway through the 4th? Why did you get so sloppy with the basketball? There's 4 turnovers here. And why, when you put up a shot here, did you decide to complain and not get back? This just wasn't Steph Curry. I think Ethan Strauss actually illustrated it very well. He was 66% in the restricted area during the regular season. He was getting to the rim. In this series, he was well under 50%. Right. He just didn't look like himself. Again,
without really that many protection at the rim from the Cavs, besides LeBron James blocking every time he went in there.
But that can get into your head, though, can't it? I mean, because LeBron had a few emphatic blocks on him, maybe that was something in the back of his mind that he's like, if I go inside, I know LeBron's coming over to try to swat me. Maybe it plays into it.
Yeah, 4th quarter of this game, you could see, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, the Cavs really believed they could pull this out. They were up 30 feet from the hoop. They're literally playing 30 feet from the hoop. And the Warriors weren't really penetrating that line of defense. They weren't getting past it. They needed to play a little inside out.
What about you, Lily? The series changed when?
I think it's actually when Draymond Green got suspended. I think that just took the Warriors out of their rotation and out of their normal way of playing, and they sort of lost their, momentum, if you want to call it that. But it just seemed to throw the team off a little bit. Obviously, Andrew Bogut not being there was a huge loss for them as well. But that happened after Draymond was suspended. So,
they also started trash talking LeBron after that happened.
Yes, they did. And then look, Draymond played excellent in Game 7. He was their best player, hit the 6 3-pointers. But I think the Warriors just lost a little bit of their mojo, and that's really what happened.
It is true. Something Trey just brought up, though. Was it the suspension of Draymond Green, or was it the words they all seemed to have for LeBron James right around that time? And that's when LeBron took it to a whole other level.
Game 7
he
was
seemed
takeable,
genuinely
though.
upset.
Game 7 was grabbable for the Warriors.
Yeah.
It was right there.
All right, final one here, guys. Fill in the blank. Lee, we'll go to you. The most iconic moment from Game 7 specifically was what?
LeBron's huge chase down block right at the end. The score was tied with under 2 minutes to go. Well, it was because what a defensive play. We all thought Andre Iguodala was going to get in for a score, a dunk or a layup.
And a foul at least.
LeBron just comes out of nowhere and gets it clean as well. That's one of those calls that often you sort of see maybe gets called for a goaltending because it hits the backboard first, but he gets it so clean. And that could have been a play that if the Warriors score, the crowd gets going and maybe the Warriors get another basket.
Oh, yeah.
Instead,
well, the attempt is not that much different than the crazy one that Iggy put off the glass super high, right? He kind of has to avoid a guy and toss it up, but when LeBron is lurking, things are different.
And if you see the replay there, especially the overhead angle, LeBron knows exactly what he's doing. He can see it. He times his run perfectly, times his leap perfectly, and that will be the Cavaliers. The shot we know is Jordan over Craig Ehlo.
That is the block.
That's the Cavaliers' le block.
That's the block for sure. Yeah. And you see it there. He puts both hands up. If Iggy, and he talked about it, if Iggy goes up and under the rim, I think LeBron's blocking it with his left. I know he's blocking it with his left. And it's crazy because this guy has so many miles on his legs coming in out of high school. It's Game 7, the end of the season, the final 2 minutes. Fast break Warriors are going the other way, and he still somehow finds that in the reserve tank.
Will LeBron James decide to win Defensive Player of the Year in his 30s?
Wow,
he can if he wants, right? Like if he wanted to go for 82 games.
Yeah, that's true. One more moment, though. Kyrie Irving's 3. LeBron was doing it defensively. I think I will truly remember Kyrie's step-back 3 on, the step-back king himself, Steph Curry. This was a game where both teams down the stretch, no one could score. The defense was locked in, obviously. These guys are fatigued, they're tired, they're obviously feeling the pressure of a Game 7, a tight Game 7. And Kyrie was the one that did the Steph-like shot that we expected Steph would be the one to do, of course, in the Oracle. That was, that's good defense right there from Curry, too. He's all over him. And he's just better offense.
Absolutely. And if he'd missed that shot, I think that's one of the shots, especially if the Warriors had gone on to win, that people would have really piled on him and LeBron for, because LeBron didn't have the ball in his hands. But great courage from Kyrie.
I think